Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Route 96 in Victor is something new and exciting for you to get behind the wheel of, my friends. It's Performance Days, and the spotlight's on the powerful new 2025 Charger Daytona Road and Track. Lease it now for just $169 a month for 24 months. First payment, DMV taxes and fees due at signing, just $2,500 cash or trade, 7,500 miles per year. See dealer for details. Exclusions apply. Offer ends April 30th, 2025. Need something more family-friendly? Well, you got to check out the 2025 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4. You can lease it for only $249 a month for 27 months. With $2,500 down, first payment, DMV taxes and fees due at signing, 7,500 miles per year, lease loyalty required. Or get the job done right this spring with the 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab 4x4. Just $329 a month for 42 months. $3,500 cash or trade at signing, 10,000 miles per year, lease loyalty required. It's all happening during Truck Month at the Jeep event and Performance Days only at Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Route 96 in Victor.
When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Thanks for getting your pot on. Thank you for telling a friend. That's how we get more Rory McIlroy on the podcast, by you telling a friend and a friend telling a friend, and we got all these listeners, and I'll have a whole lot of fun, Daniel.
Let's see how he does today. Let's see how he does it. If he holds off Bryson.
Yeah.
Bryson was making a push yesterday, but Rory was still doing well, too.
Yeah, Rory held on, and he got back below 10.
Yeah.
All right, he's 12 under.
12 under.
There was something that I've been rolling around in my skull for a while, and it's something we've touched on the podcast, but it's one of these things that'll go a little deep, and maybe it's a little weird, but I feel like these are things I can discuss with you. I could discuss with you and Kevin, and some other people. I gotta keep it lighter. I don't know what to do. Sometimes.
Okay, well, you could tell me anything, Bill.
No, I understand,
and the listeners, they're great.
But I think that. We hear about fear, and, fear holds us back, and fear does that. And I started to think about this, and I go, yeah, but is it fear? Or, well, it's fear. I will admit that. It's fear. But is it like there are hidden faces of fear?
Like reluctance?
Disguised as something else. Well, reluctance.
Laziness?
Sure, but... There's all kinds of things, and I'm starting to see, like, even with myself, without saying too much, you gotta push and get things done. But I wouldn't say I was afraid, but then I started to think about it, and I go, I don't know. Sometimes it sounds like fear is disguised as politeness. Fear is disguised as I don't know, like, you're the first generation to go to college, right? Were you the first generation to go to college?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Technically, my sister, who was a generation above me, but yeah, us kids were the first ones to go on to college.
So the first ones to go to college.
And 3 of 5 of us actually finished.
And you look at that and you think, wow, my parents had to work really hard for me to get here. I had to work really hard to get here. I don't really belong here. Entrepreneurship is not for me. It's for trust fund kids. That's the kind of fear I'm talking about.
Right.
Where it's disguised as something else. But it's really fear.
Yes.
It's like, oh, shit, I don't know how to do that. Right. I don't know how to do that. And you know what was making me think this? And I think you did the same thing. I was thinking about it's spring break for most schools in the Northeast, like I'm going to say elementary, but schools,
yes.
K through 12.
Yes.
And not necessarily college. And I think that I was thinking back to spring break in college. Did you ever go away?
Panama City.
You did?
2002.
You did?
Yes.
Okay.
Had a blast.
Okay.
Loved it.
All right. I never did.
Oh, no.
No, I went to Killington one year and skied.
Oh, okay. I've been there too, but not for spring break.
But we went for spring break and we did some spring skiing and stuff, and it was fun. But I think it was always one of these things where I don't know. I like you were afraid to go, or that wasn't for me, or I didn't really know. And I go, what was that? What is that? What is that in us that does that? Like radio could be a job that could be very transient, right? When I was in radio, I had an opportunity to go to LA. I think more than anything, fear prevented me from going to LA. I remember going for a run when I was in LA and thinking, holy shit, man, this is everything you ever wanted. And then I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they came with the salary, and you could have pushed back, and you didn't. And you're like, so there was fear. It's all fear. And so it holds you there. And then you look back and you go, well, who puts this fear in you, or these traditions and beliefs in you? Your parents do. And they don't mean to do it in a bad way.
They're trying to protect you.
My parents were not people who were
risk takers.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think mine definitely weren't.
I mean, my dad took a risk and built a house. That's a risk. Yeah, he could have fucked it up. He might have here and there.
Well, eventually he burned it to the ground, right? No, I'm joking. I'm
Yes,
joking.
I know.
I'm joking.
Oh God, what a fucking nightmare. But
Paw Bill giveth, Paw Bill taketh away.
yeah, but I just go. I'm just thinking like my dad did not travel for work. He was a teacher. Yeah, that's what he did. They lived at home.
My father, being a steel worker, same thing.
Yeah.
We don't cross the Green Bridge.
Yeah.
We don't go to the reservation for gas.
Yeah.
You stay right here. Okay, Dad.
Yeah. It's like one of these things. Like, and I go, what? And that wasn't even like, I think my dad is, and everybody's going to say this, well, my dad's the strongest dad. My dad could beat up your dad. Remember you were a little kid?
My dad legitimately could, though.
But when I was...
just ask him.
when I growing up, I would say, and I mean this truthfully, like my dad is one of the most intelligent people I've ever encountered and extremely funny. Like he could have done so many things. And I didn't know this, but my brother was very close with his aunt. It would be his mom had two sisters. His mom married under bizarre circumstances and stayed married. And the other two did not. And there's almost a reason. There's a pretty serious reason as to why. And they lived together as kind of old maids, you would say. But I loved going to see them and stuff.
I had great aunts who did the same thing.
Yeah. And
the three of them all lived together until the day they died.
And then my brother got very close with one of them and almost like a grandmother to him, right? And so he would call her every week and he would talk to her and all this. And he told me that there were times she's like, I don't understand your father. He could have done so much more. And I go, that's the fear of what the fuck is that? And how do you get past it? Because it's culture, it's upbringing, it's your internal boundaries. All those things are fearful.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, like when we were hunter-gatherers, you had to have that anxiety inside you for attackers, right? In case somebody was going to come to hurt your family.
True. Yeah.
So now that we live in cubicles and sit and have a back porch, and even the worst of Americans have it pretty good. Have it better than 99% of the world, right?
They got a flat screen TV and air conditioning.
Even homeless people in LA, man, have tents and they have great weather. Yeah. All right. They're getting free food and stuff. We live as Americans at the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So we have all this anxiety and nowhere to put it. So what do? We invest, and I'm not using that word like in a complimentary way. We invest that anxiety into our everyday life.
Yeah.
And it manifest. That's the best way to use it. Hey, you know what? I don't know if I should take this job.
Right.
I don't know if I should apply for this.
Right.
You know what, Dan? You can't do this.
Look,
you don't want to do that.
I'll tell you what.
The greatest risk of all is not taking a risk.
I just read about a girl locally to where we live who is the youngest to ever be accepted to UB Law. Most people do 4 years of college. This young lady, and I just read through the article. I should try to get her on the podcast at some point. It would be interesting to talk to her. Maybe we'll try to do that this week. I do have to travel this week, but we'll still be doing some episodes. But she figured out that, hey, there was a learning program. So through FLCC, she could take college courses while she was in high school. So as a freshman, she started taking college courses in addition to her workload. And obviously a bright kid. So she goes through, and this is where sometimes when you're young, you don't have these hangups, right? You don't have them. So she's kind of going through and going, I don't know what I'm going to do. They say she graduated at a young age, 17. I graduated at 17, so I don't think that's that young, but I turned 18 in August, so I was a later birthday. But she is a spring birthday, so she graduated like a year ahead. And I think she did some college work, maybe did some stuff, but meanwhile was trying to get into the 3+3 program at, I guess, UB. And they go, well, in order to do that, you got to take the LSATs. So she's like, okay. So she's like, I didn't know. She had tried all these different things. I guess biology. She was looking at political science. She was thinking maybe she could do Spanish and education and become like a courtroom interpreter for somebody and that sort of thing. And then, I don't know, she took the LSAT, but there was no fear. Like, if I make it, great. If I don't, no big deal, right? And all the things that we do, failing to me is one of the greatest things, especially in sports.
Great teacher.
Well, it's a great teacher.
Great motivator.
Because when we think of sports, like you go, okay, I want to win that. I want to win the job on the team. I want to be the starting receiver, quarterback, running back, lineman, whatever. And you work your tail off with that goal in mind. And even if you don't get it, you're that much closer to it.
Right.
And you're that much better off.
Fell forward.
Done it. Right. And I'm listening. I watch this girl and I go, boy, that is that's the naivete of youth, which is a wonderful thing because you don't worry about what if I embarrass myself? What if my friends laugh at me? What I'm too old for this? What are they going to take me seriously? Are they going to? It's all that shit that we put in our way. Ever feel like you're getting more legal advice than a judge on TV? When you're facing criminal charges or a DWI, suddenly everyone becomes a legal expert. Your neighbor, your cousin, even the guy at the gym. Sure, they mean well, but that's when you need to tune out the noise and call CircuLaw. Steve Circu and his experienced team understand that these are really scary moments, especially when you're accused of something you didn't knowingly commit. That's why they're all about preparation. While your Uncle Bob is sharing another court story, CircuLaw will be methodically building your defense, leaving no stone unturned. They've successfully litigated every type of case imaginable, from misdemeanors to complex felonies. Remember, your rights and freedoms aren't just words. They're everything, and protecting them is what CircuLaw does best. When you need real legal expertise, not just well-meaning advice, call CircuLaw 585-385-2510 or visit their secure contact page at circulaw.com. CircuLaw, because your rights and freedoms deserve more than just good intentions. Take this from Billified. Stop getting your legal advice from social media. Call CircuLaw today. The Cobblestone Chop Drop is back. Are you familiar with Cobblestone's Chop Drop? This is where they take a pork chop and they prepare it in some really unique, fantastic way. This time, it's a grilled pork chop glazed in a rich bourbon sauce served over steamed cabbage and lyonnaise potatoes. Yep, it's as amazing as it sounds. And you're going to find it only at Cobblestone on Main. 109 West Main Street in the Village of Webster. Your go-to spot for lunch, dinner, unforgettable nights out, whether you're catching up with friends at their upscale bar, sipping seasonal craft cocktails, or planning the perfect date night. Cobblestone's got you covered. The Cobblestone Chop Drop. You don't want to miss this one. 109 West Main Street in the Village of Webster. It's Cobblestone on Main. Are the Masters a bunch of phonies?
Pretentious?
Well, yeah,
I'd say pretentious. I don't know about phonies, but pretentious.
Okay, pretentious.
We're very snooty here at Augusta. The patrons are remarkably, like our old pal, I think he went to school with Mike Shope, said on Twitter yesterday, he goes, has anyone ever used the word patrons in their life to describe people? And I wrote back to him, I go, on Billified, only in reference to the Masters. So no.
Yeah.
The patrons here at Augusta in the galleys.
Well,
it's Amen Corner.
We learned about things that like they're not referred to as the galley or
I forgot,
or whatever. They're patrons. They're patrons. And there are certain things that you can't say.
It's not a cheeseburger. It's a Royale with cheese.
At Augusta. We went through the list on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
No, Wednesday. And, but then there are things that are starting to leak out a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Go on.
Well, Jordan Spieth, who...
By the way, what happened to him?
Okay.
Go ahead.
He won the Masters in 2015. And I think in the first couple of Masters that he was in, finished somewhere between third and fifth. Not four, I'm not saying fourth, but I think third, fourth, and fifth in different events. And then he won it in 2015. And he almost didn't make the cut this year. I think Sergio Garcia did not make the cut, which is a pretty big name in golf to not make the cut at Augusta. But he did say some things about this. And here is Jordan Spieth talking about Augusta, what's happening, and he shouldn't be talking about this. People are not happy.
Be brutally honest with you, it was primarily mud balls, and it's just so frustrating.
He was asked why I think he went like 72, 73, and the third day shot a 69. And they're going, what was it the first couple of days? Or why are you having this hard time? And he says this.
Be brutally honest with you, it was primarily mud balls, and it's just so frustrating because you can't talk about them here. You're not supposed to talk about them. I mean, mud balls can affect this tournament significantly, and they've done a better job. There's like less than normal, but I mean, I still had them today on those holes too. I had them yesterday on those holes, and yeah, I was actually really surprised, like on Tuesday, how, but I'm expecting it a lot out here. Look, it's mowed into the grain. The ball's digging in on every shot. Every person's having to deal with it, but the fact that you're not supposed to talk about it is a bit frustrating because it is a difference maker. It can be a difference maker in scores on some holes.
What people who may not know, a mud ball, from what I understand, pardon me, that's my phone, potential spam. What people may not know is it's mud on the ball. And mud on the ball that's why they have ball washers.
Yes.
Do they have ball washers in Augusta?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know if they're called ball washers either, Billy.
What would they be called?
I don't know.
Testicle ticklers?
Debris remover.
Oh, debris removers. Well, so you get mud on the ball, and it can change the flight and trajectory of the ball.
Wasn't that a song by John Mellencamp? Mud on the ball.
Yes.
Blood on the scarecrow.
So, I mean, you're not supposed to say that.
No.
You're not supposed to talk about mud balls. He says it right there. He says you can't talk about this.
Yeah, they'll fine you. They're jerks at Augusta. It is a microcosm of communist China.
And yet at the end, the same mud balls that everybody else is dealing with, I guess you're just putting in the mud a little bit more because Rory's 12 under.
I think Jordan Spieth's a little frustrated. I first of all, I empathize with his frustration with not being able to say something, speak the truth. When we were in radio, we talked about fear in the last segment. You had no fear to say what was ever on your mind at the golf course that we worked at called Intercom.
Who, me?
Yeah, you didn't. You had no fear. Now me, I had to be careful. You didn't have to. But I empathize for Jordan Spieth. However. And I love Jordan Spieth, but Jordan Spieth is probably frustrated because Jordan Spieth is not living up to the expectations that were unrealistically set before him when he won the Masters because, like Rory and like others, hey, he might be the next Tiger Woods, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've always said, Tiger Woods was like Alexander the Great, and when Alexander the Great died, they divided his territory to 4 generals. We don't know who their names are anymore. They all just disappeared. Well, there were like 5 or 6 next Tiger Woods. Yeah. None of them are Tiger Woods. Right. Scotty Scheffler was the latest. Yeah. I mean, so Jordan Spieth was, he's a phenom. And he's a great kid too, which is what we said about Tiger. And he hasn't been that guy.
Yeah.
He just hasn't. And that's okay. But you can't say that when the club leader's 12 under going into the final round.
That's the thing.
Because he's not having mud balls. I don't think it's the mud balls. I don't think it's Augusta. I think it's you.
It probably is you. I would say that. Everything is you got to stand up and take responsibility for your stuff.
No, it's tailor-made, actually.
But I do find it.
This guy Foodie gave me these clubs. He recommended them.
I do find it funny. But I think that's probably really true. For I'm sure it's true. I don't play enough golf to even know.
I don't play golf.
Yeah.
I don't play golf.
Then
I tried once. It was awful.
The amateur who's been playing. So we have that. That is a faux pas at Augusta.
Oh, you can't say amateur.
No. You can't talk about the mud balls.
Oh.
You can't talk about
Oh, okay.
that.
All right.
That's you're not allowed
We
to
don't
talk
say
about.
amateur, we say amateur.
Yes, but they have an amateur. And the amateur is from Spain. His name is Jose Luis Ballester.
Okay.
Jose Luis Ballester, I don't know if he goes to Arizona, but he came out with a Sun Devils hat, and Sun Devils was written upside down, embroidered upside down.
Oh, yeah, because that's the thing now. A lot of hats have the hat, like you'll see a Buffalo hat with Buffalo upside down or Mafia upside down.
And golf purists were not happy with that.
Of course they
and
are.
I don't know. Augusta didn't make him take off the hat. I don't know. But this guy did something that I wonder if it's ever happened at Augusta. I know it's happened I'm sure in other tournaments. But has it ever happened at Augusta? I would love to know the answer to that. Here is Jose Luis Ballester talking about what he did.
What happened there?
Well, I completely forgot that we had those restrooms on the left of the tee box.
Oh, okay. 13th tee.
Yes, correct. And then I'm like, I really need to pee. Didn't really know where to go, and since JT had an issue around the green, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much, and then they clap for me. Probably one of the clubs that I really got today, like really loud. So that was kind of funny.
Are you concerned that there might be any blowback from that at all? Or I mean, obviously they did see you, right?
Yeah, they saw me. They saw me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not embarrassing at all for me. So if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
Okay. He took a leak in Rays Creek, maybe the most famous creek in all of golf. He took a piss in Rays Creek. And they caught him. And I go, it's like Happy Gilmore. I like this.
I had the chip with that going on.
I like the other guys. I'm sure in the past when we didn't have as many cameras and the coverage wasn't as intense.
Oh, we've
other guys.
Yeah,
have had to
we've
do this.
seen it actually over the years. They've actually found guys doing this in the woods. I mean, like off camera, and
in
it's somebody,
Augusta?
or just in golf in general. I don't know about
Yeah.
Augusta.
Well, that's what
and
I'm
then
saying,
somebody
Augusta.
will release it to like a dead spin or something like that. Hey, guess what I saw? Someone trying to curry favor with one of the media outlets, and then it'll go viral. But it's not the first time that's happened. It won't be the last, but he talked about it.
Yes, he did. He answered the questions, and I
had to pee.
I appreciated
We
it.
don't say pee here at Augusta. We say number one.
It's funny, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, and it's more funny because it's Augusta.
Yes.
And it's frowned upon. And this guy's like, I don't care. I had to go to the bathroom. I saw this just a few seasons ago. Arch Manning. Okay. Arch Manning was the crown jewel of high school football recruiting.
Eli and Peyton's nephew.
Yes.
Cooper's son.
And
Archie's grandson.
You fast forward to 2025 with Quinn Ewers headed to the NFL. He is going to be quarterback number 1 for Texas.
Arch will now that Quinn is going to the draft.
Now that he's going in the draft. And spring games have started. And ESPN's Reese Davis stirred the pot with a take saying Arch isn't just a star in the making. He might become football's ultimate villain. And I thought, ooh. And then I go, how tough would it be to be a third generation? Right? We've talked about the number of guys who didn't do as well as their dad in a sport. Now, there's some that have. Ken Griffey Jr. did better than his old man.
Yes, Cal Ripken Jr. did better than his father.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure that Howie Long's kids did better than Howie Long in the NFL.
No, they're not Hall of Famers.
But
Howie was a Hall of Famer.
But then you've got this, and you go, do you even have a chance to have your own identity, or was it just a predestined thing? Like, this is it. This is what I have to do.
Here's the weird thing about Arch. I think like Bronny James, LeBron James's people did a great job of keeping Bronny hidden.
Yeah.
So you had no idea in high school or in college what he was going to become because he really wasn't that good. And so they kind of protected him. And now, he's doing great in the G League, which nobody's watching. They have to keep telling us about him, right? But he's really not that good. Now, could he be someday? Perhaps. Arch Manning, we were told, came with the same hype that Bronny James did. But Arch signed, like in his junior year of high school, to go to Texas.
Yeah.
He was going to be the man.
Yeah.
Right? He couldn't beat out Quinn Ewers, and Quinn Ewers is considered like one of the worst quarterbacks going into this year's draft.
Okay.
He couldn't beat out that dude at a school where winning is everything.
Yeah, but I was watching some stuff. I thought he brought them back and had the overtime win against Arizona State.
He did. I mean, it's not like he's bad.
He threw for nearly 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, he filled in for Quinn Ewers, but he couldn't displace him.
Yeah.
That's telling. Now, he's got more time to develop, though, and he's not one of these transfer babies.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Colorado, and then next year I'm going to go to Arizona State. No, he hasn't done that. He's staying with Steve Sarkisian, the head coach at Texas. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. Now, could he become that villain? Possibly. I just don't know how when he's not even arguably the best quarterback projected to be next year's draft or the year after.
Have you been to Leo's Bakery and Deli in East Rochester recently? Oh, you got to get there. They're open every day, so it's very convenient. It'll satisfy your sweet tooth, your sandwich cravings. Get the Cubano. Tell them Billified said to have the Cubano sandwich. Fresh baked bread, handcrafted pastries, deli favorites, and desserts like cannolis that'll make you rethink your self-control. It's all waiting for you. So, what's the best thing about Leo's? Everything. Check them out at Despatch Drive in East Rochester because every day is a good day for Leo's because the best thing about Leo's is everything. Got a home improvement conundrum? Time to call in the superheroes, Mac of all trades. Leaky faucet, wall that mysteriously has a hole in it. Kitchen looking like it's stuck in the 90s. Mac of all trades is here to save the day. No capes, just expert repairs, remodeling, and handyman services that get the job done right. Call them today at 585-202-9218. That's 585-202-9218. Or visit them online at macofalltrades.net because every home needs a hero. Mac of all trades. A couple of guys, who I think they call themselves the Cutthroat Cowboys, decided that it would be fun, and I kind of get it. I get their thing, to take their horses right into Walmart.
Be brutally honest with you.
Yeah, right into Walmart. You hear the horses? They're walking right into Walmart. They're riding them.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no.
What the fuck? Oh, hell no. What the hell? What we supposed to do about that? Just let them go?
They can't do that like that. They call the police.
They call the police.
I know, man. They ain't supposed to come in there like that. They gonna scare the shit out of somebody back there, man.
Oh, look at this Deborah. I don't think I don't know if she saw that just now. I don't know if Miss Deborah just saw that.
Yeah.
Sounds like a slow ping pong match.
Yeah. So these guys rode their horses right in there. Here is the news from Louisiana.
Okay, have you seen this video posted on our Facebook page? Look at this. It's already gotten about 5 million views. Yep, those are 4 horses inside the Baker Walmart, walking, or maybe not galloping, but trotting right past the cashier. This is David Hamilton talked to one of the men on horseback.
Oh, yeah, that's my emotional support animal.
Okay. Right? Great answer. Great answer.
Okay, going back to our first segment, Billy. Fearless.
Fearless. Great answer. Great answer.
When you have an emotional support animal, you can be fearless.
This man and a group of his friends call themselves the Cutthroat Cowboys. Video of them riding through the Baker Walmart was watched millions of times on WBRZ social media pages. In the video, you can see the riders reining the horses in, and Walmart workers confused on how to handle the situation. Shortly after videos were uploaded, the Baker police issued warrants for their arrest. We caught up with Mason Webb as he and a juvenile turned themselves in to the police department. We asked why they chose to ride through the store. Their answer, why not?
We just went in there, rode. We always ride to Baker, and we just wanted to do it that day. Hey.
Both Webb and the juvenile facing misdemeanor charges of disturbing the peace by violent and tumultuous manner, entry on or remaining after forbidden, and unlawful posting of criminal activity for notoriety and publicity.
I mean, it was fun. We went famous. That's all. We didn't want to hurt nobody or nothing.
Yeah.
Well, all of those horse riders have turned themselves into police.
There you go. All right. So they all.
But you can't do that at Augusta either.
No, you cannot. So I started to think, and I go, he says emotional support animal. Well, that brings me on to this emotional
Well, if he has
support animal.
papers for it.
Right. I was recently over the St. Patrick's Day, I'll call it holiday. I was at Damien's, Mulconry's, who will be having their 17th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
Next week. Not this week, but the following week. Somebody came in with a dog, and it had a vest on that said emotional support animal or something, support, or okay. And I don't have a problem with it. I think that people there are things that manifest. I'm not going to, but the dog is like jumping up on people, sniffing their crotches. I go, this ain't a fucking, I go, David, get this fucking thing out of here. Because it wasn't an emotional support animal. I do believe that there are people that need them, but we've all seen the viral videos of someone trying to bring their peacock on a plane, right? Or the pig, or the this, or the that. And I get it with a dog. I understand it with a cat. All right, they've shown
they're domesticated.
They're domesticated and they're trained. I haven't seen the trained peacock. I'm not saying you can't. I don't know.
Or the trained rattlesnake. Or the trained rattlesnake.
Or the trained rattlesnake. I don't get that. And as I'm watching this, I go, okay, I've seen it even like during finals week. And I used to kind of roll my eyes at it. They would bring, like, if they had a dog, hey, emotional, it's a support dog, you're stressed out. But if you're petting the dog and the dog is cute and responsive and calm and all that, you're not thinking about anything but the dog. It's almost Zen-like. It's almost Buddhist in a way, or whatever. You've just taken your mind off of whatever the pressure is, and you kind of breathe and you feel better, and then you can go back about your day. Look, if a dog does that for somebody, fucking fantastic. That's great. It's when your dog takes a shit in the aisle and somebody steps in it, or you've got this obnoxious thing that comes around. I'm shocked at what I see sometimes with people. Absolutely shocked. And I go, I think businesses are unsure whether or not they can allow them. They don't want to end up in some kind of legal battle. They don't want to be ESA, what is it? Emotional support animal. Yeah, ESA friendly. They also don't want it to go viral that, hey, they kicked somebody off the plane that had a pig. You got a pig on the plane. The only thing that should be a pig on the plane, probably for most of you, is your wife.
Oh,
whoa,
Billy.
Whoa. No, I'm kidding. Or your husband. Probably your husband, ladies. You know what I'm saying. Like, I go, I don't get some of this stuff, and I feel like I'm like an old curmudgeon going, get off my lawn with your stupid thing. But there's a rise in some of this, I don't know, stuff.
We've got to come up with
it's like emotional inflation.
Yeah.
Connors and Ferris handles workers' comp, Social Security disability, and personal injury cases. Listen, I get it. Workers' comp claims can be a real pain. But Connors and Ferris are here to fight for you and get you the compensation you deserve. Whether you threw out your back on the job, slipped when you should have gripped, or your boss thinks overtime means free labor. Spoiler, it doesn't. They've got your back at Connors and Ferris. With offices in New York City, Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo, they're the go-to team for getting the compensation you deserve. No gimmicks, no nonsense, just real results. Call Connors and Ferris, 262-COMP. That's 262-COMP for Connors and Ferris. There is a story about a 52-year-old woman. Her name is Kimberly Ann Schoper. She was arrested.
Did she used to do a show in town?
No.
Oh, okay. Go on.
She was arrested for selling human bones online.
You sure she didn't do a show? No, I'm just joking.
She, literal skulls, ribs, vertebrae, and clavicles, all up for grabs on Facebook Marketplace. And a website called Wicked Wonderland. She and her business reportedly sold human remains for years, claiming they were educational models. So I don't know why we're busting this person. They've done it for years. You haven't turned up somebody missing. I don't know. I'm wondering because then further in the article, they say she claims she had documentation for educational models. She couldn't produce it when questioned. I don't know. It might have been under
the dog ate my dog ate my paper. Yeah, my support dog ate the paperwork. Also, he ate his own paperwork. So now I'm in trouble for both.
But police according to this woman, and can you guess what state this may have happened in?
Florida.
Yeah, you got it. Florida. It's not even hesitation.
Sorry, Ryan. Florida.
She sees bones, including a partial human skull, priced at $600.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a lot for a human skull.
Bro.
And later confirmed that some, according to police, were archaeological finds potentially over 500 years old.
Okay.
So I'm going, okay, I'm sure there were burial grounds and things 500 years ago. So is there ethical grave robbing going on? I don't know that you could call it ethical, but is there grave robbing going on? Look, we plowed through. I think people live on what used to be burial grounds.
Oh, yeah, the Pines of Parenting.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, you guys go hiking every Saturday.
The Chopper argued ignorance of the law, and she was still charged with trading human tissue and released a $7,500 bond. But the legal and ethical mess is already fully alive. Look, we had somebody here that was selling in the funeral business, and I don't know why, because I think it costs more to have. Didn't we do some story about there was more to have people displayed than it was to burn them up?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And
might as well go straight to, do not pass go, just go straight to cremation.
But there was somebody who, yeah, then I was wondering if they do a discount if they fry 3 people at once and you just get a bunch of ashes.
Wasn't that an old joke from a comic?
No, I think that. No, we were talking about that with my dog.
Okay.
But I don't know. It could have been. I don't remember.
Hey, we saw you had a funeral this week, too. We were wondering if we could, go halves this week. You share the room and we'll share the room, too.
But there was a funeral parlor here that was selling.
Yeah, about 20 years ago, body
bones.
harvesting.
Yeah, body harvesting stuff.
It's a big topic.
Yeah, and which people would get.
People didn't care.
Well,
I produced a talk show at that point, and people called up and they said, "When I'm gone, I don't care what you do with my body. Just put it in the ground. Yeah. You want to take bones out? Fine."
Yeah,
and he was kind of freaked out because 9 callers out of 10 were like, "Yeah, whatever, we don't care." But you can't do that without telling people. They're not organs. You didn't sign a card to do that.
No. I don't know. I don't think you can do it. I think they were selling it. I don't know what they were. I think they were selling it to hospitals and things for like rebuilds or.
It could be. Or science.
I think they were selling tendons and things.
Yeah.
I think that's what
Well, yeah, because, cadaver parts actually have been used in surgeries for other people.
Yeah, the whole thing though, I go, you have a 500-year-old bone. Where'd you get that from?
Well, they say Florida was like Ponce de Leon discovered Florida. He was a Spanish, adventurer and whatever. And the Fountain of Youth was supposedly in Florida. And we know now with all those old people going down there, that's not necessarily true. But there was a lot of life going on in Florida, long before America.
What makes you go, this is worth $600, this is worth that?
Right. Did you get an appraiser?
Well, I don't know. How do you price it? Where do you find the bones? And what are you buying them for? Look, some people have said they wanted their loved one's skull on their mantle. They'd love to have that. Mm-hmm. Somebody else said, I would have a lampshade made out of the skin of my loved one. I go,
or like a wallet.
That shit's weird.
Yeah.
But, you get a lot more niche subcultures because of online.
Yes. Because you'll find your tribe.
Yes.
You'll find your
people. So you've got goth boutiques, mm-hmm. right? Some of them are brick and mortar. Mm-hmm. There's witchcraft things that people like to go to and dabble in and be part of and all that stuff. I think there's a store. I thought there was one, the Cabinet of Curiosity.
Okay.
I thought years ago that mainstream, like, death is an aesthetic kind of thing. Okay. And they showed you all kinds of different things. And I don't know.
I've heard the Catholic Church claims to have Mary Magdalene's skull that they put on display every Easter week. I'm not even joking. I've actually seen the video. I don't know if it's her skull officially, but
where is it?
I think it's in the
Rome?
Vatican somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah, and people walk by it to it's just a skull all dressed up and but a skull. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you really?
I don't know. Look, I mean, people.
I know people are into weird stuff, but there's a reason why we have laws, okay?
Well, this is the thing. Like, this woman was doing it for years. I don't know why she got busted now. I have no idea.
Did the law change? Sometimes laws change.
Yeah, but okay, but in a world where anything, you could say almost anything. I'm going to say anything can be bought or sold online. It's bones.
Yeah.
Of dead people.
They're not being used anymore.
No.
Yeah.
They're not being used anymore. That's it. Danny's moving on.
Yeah.
All right, Danny.
And 2 wives later.
It's doing well.
Yeah.
It's doing well.
Yes, exactly.
Everything's going
Boo
great.
and I are doing great.
That's right.
She's the reason why I want to have that wish list for my organ donation.
You're like Rory at Augusta, 12 under again.
See?
Yeah.
Let's see if he pulls it off.
All right, well.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Here's
next
hoping,
few
and
rounds.
I think a great take from you on DeChambeau, who is 9 under.
Yeah. By the way, I got to apologize. Peyton Manning's a good dude. I just want to make that clear. Somebody sent me a text. I go, no, he's... My friend Freddie, he goes, dude, you got to be careful. I go, he's a great dude. Peyton Manning's a great dude. He's just intense. He's not as shucks as people think. That's all. But he's a good dude.
Okay. You know...
Just want to make sure people...
It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sweat that out.
It's the kombucha. Yeah, exactly. I have fear. I have fear.
Sweat that out.
I need
Let
a therapy
the fear
dog.
take over. You might. Or a monkey. I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you tomorrow.
Cadillac with Tennessee place. It was somewhere in Nevada.